Cisco Unified Border Element, or CUBE, often be thought of as the front door to your organization's telecommunications environment. CUBE connects to your telecom provider and will be the first hop for calls coming into your organization and the last hop for calls exiting. Inbound calls can come from your provider into CUBE and then be passed to Call Manager, or they could go to other destinations such as a fax server or Microsoft Teams. Often, inbound calls may be invalid or from an untrusted source, and CUBE will block these calls, sometimes hundreds or thousands at a time. CUBE does this quietly in the background. Administrators often have no idea what calls are being presented to CUBE, blocked by CUBE, or even failing to do an error. This is where VoIP Detective CUBE analytics come in. Cisco CUBE is able to generate CDRs itself, similar to what Call Manager produces, detailing all calls that occur on the platform. We can configure CUBE to log these calls and push them to VoIP Detective. Once they arrive, VoIP Detective will process these files and create a searchable list. Here you can see the main search page for VoIP Detective. We can expand the CUBE Analytics section, where you will see a host of options. If we press Search Now with no other options, it will display all of today's calls. Let's give it a try. Here we see many failed calls. These are actually hackers trying to make calls through our test lab. We can see that they continue to try different extensions, hoping to get lucky. We can see the error code that was generated as to why the call failed. Let's go back to the search page and try that same search again, but with more columns turned on. You can see that the display can get a bit cramped with all of these columns. However, we do get some good information. I'll go to the last page now so we can see some successful calls. You'll notice there are 2 entries for each successful call, 1 for each leg. We can even see the dial peer that was matched on our cube for each call. This can be really helpful for troubleshooting. If you ever have questions about the data presented, you can hover over the column's header. CUBE Analytics is designed to give the administrator insight into what's happening on your cube. You'll be able to identify problems as soon as they crop up and view calls as they're presented to CUBE before any translation patterns or modifications take place. CUBE Analytics is included in VoIP Detective Pro at no additional cost. You can download VoIP Detective and get started today by visiting www.voipdetective.com.